This time at Quick Speed Shop, I'm going to show you how to make a Gene Winfield Pipe Anvil for bending sheet metal to make shapes like this. It's pretty straightforward. I'm going to show you how we do it right now. I went to the Gene Winfield metal shaping class about 5 years ago, and he showed us how to build one of these. And I got some scrap steel pipe here. It's a Schedule 40 steel pipe, the piece of 6-inch, piece of 4-inch, and a piece of 2-inch. And they're a little bit, this one's a little bit taller. I got to cut this down. But we're going to make a 3-foot long pipe anvil for bending sheet metal. So a little background if you're not familiar with Gene Winfield. He's a legendary customizer who's been essentially customizing cars since the 1940s. He did a lot of famous cars. He developed a special Winfield fade for painting cars with the way the color fades on the cars. He built a Jade Idol with a real famous green fade paint job on it. And he did a bunch of coachwork cars. He did some movie cars. He did the cars for, I believe, RoboCop and a bunch of other things. Let's see. Oh, he did the lander for Star Trek back in the 60s. And anyways, Gene's been around for a long time. He's in his 90s now, and he still goes out and works every day in his shop in the Mojave Desert. And anyways, I went to his class, and it was a 2-day class. It was super cool. If you ever get a chance to take a Gene Winfield metal shaping class, it's well worth it. So essentially what we're going to do is take these pieces of tubing and weld them together with a small gap in between them so you can slip the sheet metal in here. Then you bend the sheet metal over the tubing on different things. So I forget the exact number. It's like 5/30 seconds maybe, something like that. What I think I'm going to do is just take like a washer. We'll use a washer to make our gap. And that will give just enough to get it together, but still enough to get sheet metal in there. I think that's going to be the hot setup. Just like a 5/16 washer. And this is going to be real easy to build. Essentially just weld it together, weld some legs on it, and you're done. For this, just to keep track, I keep these straight when I go to weld them on. I made a little template. I just took a dirty finger and made a ring on this 6-inch pipe and aligned it up with the weld seam in the pipe and just marked it with a Sharpie. So I can bring the pieces up and I can tack them on these lines here, and then I can take my template and put it on the other side of the pipe so I can keep these straight so they don't wander at an angle down the 6-inch steel pipe. So I'm just going to hold this up here and I'll mark where I got to make a grinder mark, clean the surface of this pipe off for welding. And you can see how thick this is. This is Schedule 40. It's about 3/16, almost a 1/4 inch thick. So this thing's going to be pretty beefy, but you want it to be sturdy if you're going to be working on it. I've got the pipe clamped together. I've got the washer that I'm using for a spacer clamped in there, and I've made a mark with my template. And I'm going to use the weld seams on the pipes to line everything up. So I've got the weld seam on the 4-inch lined up with the mark I got here. So I'm just going to put a tack here with the welder, and then I'll flip it over and line up the other side and tack that, and then we'll tack on the 2-inch, and then if everything looks good, then we can just burn in the corner here on each side. It won't take much to hold it together, but since you got a long distance here, you want to use a heavy pipe. That's why this is Schedule 40 pipe. It's going to be pretty thick, and it's not going to want to like bend or flex in the middle. So I feel good about it. Where's my gloves? Hold on a minute. So here we go. Let me tack her up. Perfect. Now I gotta get that washer out of there. I gotta pull the washer out. Whoop, the washer just fell out. There we go. Flip this over. Alright, you can see this is flexy because it's just tacked. So now I will place the washer. First I need my template. Where's my template? Line my template up with the weld seam out of here. Weld seam on the big pipe, and then I'm going to go ahead and mark it here. good. Alright. Now I can use my weld seam on the 4-inch pipe to line up with that mark and the washer. There we go. Now you don't want the pipes to be like equidistant, like across the center of the 6-inch. You want them kind of down on the bottom. That way you've got a lot of 6-inch to bend or a lot of 2-inch to bend. So I'm going to go ahead and put this 2-inch down here, and it's going to make it a little offset. All right. This is where this thing really starts to get heavy. Man, it's getting heavy. Alright, I measured off the weld seam 2 1/4, so I'll go 2 1/4 here. Right there. Yeah. Uh-huh. Perfect. Where'd my washer go? It's in the tube. I see it. Come back. Here. There you go. Okay. Looking good. Now you can see I was talking about not having a thing be straight across here, so now we can do a lot of 4-inch bending, we can do a lot of 6-inch bending, or do the 2-inch bending down here. So it's tacked on there good. You can see the gap through there from the washer on each side for our sheet metal. So now I got to add a leg. Okay, I got some feet welded on here. I'll show you those in a second, but I want to show you how this thing works. The gap I set up with that washer was fine for like 20 gauge and 18 gauge, but sometimes I like to use 16 gauge, so I got a piece of 16 here, and I opened up the gap, I cut the tacks, and I opened it up, and then I re-welded it a little bit bigger. But check this out, we got the 4-inch pipe here, so I can use this piece of 16 gauge, and the tighter you make your little push pieces here, the tighter you can make your bend. But look at that, made a nice roll in that 16 gauge. If I go over here to the 2-inch side, I'm just going to go opposite, and you'll see that I can make a lot tighter bend, obviously, because it's 2-inch. Just run it through here for a second, hold on. Look at that, I made a nice tighter bend, and it's pretty smooth. You just push it together a bunch of times and it makes a nice smooth turn. I got a piece of 18 gauge here, I believe. You turn this around. Fortunately, when I weld my feet on, my floor is all wonky. Now my feet wobble, but I got a fix for that in a second. So if you want to make a conical shape, so I got this curve, it's cut out of here. If you wanted to make like a conical shape, I believe you can, let's just draw some lines on here. Here's a center line. And then if you bend out at an angle, like that, I should be able to roll this into some kind of a conical shape. So let me start by doing it this way. You gotta roll it around so you get to the center line. We'll take it out and we'll flop it. I'm just doing this super fast here, so get the idea. But look at that. Now I've made a cone. So if you widen this out a little bit, I mean, if you were making like a something you needed a cone, like a bubble in the floor or a drive shaft tunnel, you can easily make a cone out of there just easily by doing it just like that. And you can go in and do some more bends if you want to tighten it up. You know, over the 2-inch, I tightened up that side of the bend, but it works super cool. Then you can roll back the other way. You want to do a gentle curve. You got the 6-inch here to work off of. You want to make a big wide curve. There, now we got a real gentle curve with a 6-inch pipe. So the thing is super handy. It's going to come in great. I mean, a lot of car is 18 gauge, and this works great for the 18 gauge. I can really get in here. 18 gauge is really easy to bend and work with. You know, on this thing, it'll bend. Look at that, just bend a real gnarly tight curve with it. So I waited a while to get this, and I'm glad I built it now. It's going to be super awesome. You can also use it. You can tap up on here. You can tap up on this top piece with your body hammer. Work metal around. You can see for the legs, I simply welded a piece of I think it's like 2-inch tubing straight down, and I've got this piece of 1x2 channel down here. And like I said, my floor is kind of uneven. So what I'm going to do off camera after the video, I'm just going to take 2 pieces of flat stock, like 1-inch wide, and weld little pads to the bottom of this. That way it'll take the contact, instead of being this whole leg, it'll just be little feet out at the end, and that'll be a lot nicer to sit on a floor. If you got an uneven floor, it'll sit a lot better. But this came out awesome. I'm real excited to use it. I'm going to use it in my 37 Ford project. I got to make a floor pan that's got a curve to it, so that's why I had to weld this up. We got just about 3 feet. You got the tack, so you're like 35 and 3/4 inches probably of throat on this thing, and it came out awesome. And I'm just going to finish welding her up and put it into use here at the Quick Speed Shop. So go get yourself some scrap pipe. Go ahead and build one of these. They come in super handy, and I can't wait to use mine. So thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and please subscribe. Tell your friends, and we'll see you right back here at the Quick Speed Shop, building cool projects like this Gene Winfield Pipe Anvil. I'm a professional. Don't try this at home.